So why do they want to hide the scale of damage from Iranian attacks? Why? Be ready, y'all. We're being PSYOP to hell right now. This is like 2020 levels.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
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 Short-term and long-term.
Short-term blip. Hopefully this is a short-term pain.
Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term
Sacrifice, yeah. And look, this is NBC, this is Fox, this is CNN, this is Newsmax. It's not just one media station. It's not just a right-leaning media station or a left-leaning media station. All are involved or being PSYOPed, just like 2020, just like COVID times. I don't know who put this compilation together, y'all, but it's really good. This is how mass media functions. It's literal witchcraft. Yeah. If you don't believe me, we caught them doing a satanic worship ceremony on a news station years ago. It was in Australia.
As Queensland Parliament, the state government announced the proposed legislation today. It's in part due to the stabbing of a police dog during an arrest in Brisbane last year.
Whoa.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Coincidence? I think
You know that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where it's like, what? I might insert it into this actually, because this is the perfect reaction to that. Look at how she's looking, y'all. Like no soul. So the news station was streaming whatever they were streaming before and streams directly to this. She actually responded, I think in Twitter. I think it was Twitter. I'm not sure if it was Twitter, but she responded because people was asking, what's going on? Why is a satanic clip playing right after that? What was up with that? And then she responded because there's not really a choice not to respond. You have to address this. Like, it doesn't make sense. She was like, oh, it was a mistake. This is a story we were planning later this evening. And I don't even think they aired the story later that evening. So of course they're going to come up with some excuse as to why this happened. Oh, this was the story we're planning on airing later, but it never aired that same evening. So where is this happening? It could be directly in the same news station. I don't know, but I do believe that all these major news stations, mass media, do worship Satan because you have to get the influence over the masses, to deceive the masses. It's literally witchcraft, as you saw. Short-term pain for long-form gain. That is their message for you. Not just the Trump administration, but every news station has aligned with this because this is truly how Satan operates. And as you see, it's on the screen. They have to align with the message, right versus left. It's an illusion of separation. They are really very aligned in their mission. They want to deceive the masses, short-term pain for long-term gain, but it ends up being a long-term pain, as with COVID. Oh, it's good. We got to flatten the curve. It's going to be a couple of weeks. It's going to be a couple of weeks. Just bear with us. Bear with us. Years later, and the economy destroyed and disrupted, and inflation doubling in like 4 years, and house prices doubling in about 4 years. Yeah, I think that's long-term pain for no-term gain. This guy said it pretty good.
So we've been talking a little bit about the media and how they all seem to be on the exact same page about this war that's not a war. But before I play this video, do you remember the propaganda from the media during COVID? Do you remember some of those slogans? 2 weeks to slow the spread. Flatten the curve. Stay home, stay safe. The new normal. Safe and effective. Trust the science. Do your part. We're all in this together. Do you remember those slogans? All at the exact same time. All orchestrated when it was a giant PSYOP. I would submit right now, you're in one again.
This is a short.
Yeah, then he plays the video that we already went over. But yeah, those phrases, 2 weeks, we got to stop, slow the curve. 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet, put on your mask, 6 feet. Who really believed that 6 feet nonsense? And they later proved that was a lie. It doesn't really matter if it's 6 feet. It doesn't really have nothing to do with it. I mean, y'all, ever since I've been alive for decades now. And ever since I can remember, flu is a regular thing. Of course, this one may have been a little bit more dangerous, but it's still the flu. It still was the flu. I actually caught it. So if you're young and you have a healthy immune system, it's not going to really mess you up too much. It may be a bit more severe, which it did feel a little bit severe when I did get it. I was like, man, this sucks, but I could breathe. It wasn't like detrimental. If you don't have comorbidities and just a bad immune system, you would have been fine. And now we're going to review some of this through this video. A well-known conspiracy theorist on YouTube, he just made a video reviewing the film Obama basically directed. The former President Obama had a major part in directing this film. If you ever seen it, it's actually very eerie. I watched it. I thought it was good, but it was actually eerie at the same time because at the time I knew Obama had a major part in directing the film. So I knew he knew something that was probably going to happen years down the road, and seeing it play out in the film and trying to predict what's going to happen in the future, I knew it was like psychological programming. And at the time, I was like, how is this going to play out? What is this going to be? I think it might be playing out now. The film was called Leave the World Behind.
In Leave the World Behind, two families are caught in the opening stages of a massive societal shift. Technology goes dark, transportation fails, and the social contract starts to crumble. In the end, the only ones prepared for the fallout were the insiders who were warned in advance. The movie provided a cinematic look at what global instability looks like as it's unfolding. And looking at the headlines today in 2026, those scenes are starting to feel a whole lot different. Today, we're decoding Leave the World Behind to see exactly what the movie may have gotten right. Leave the World Behind follows the Sanford family, who chooses the worst day possible for a weekend getaway. At the beach, they witness the first sign of the collapse, a massive oil tanker crashing onto the shore, sending the crowd into a frenzy. The chaos escalates that night when two strangers show up at their door, claiming to be the owners of the vacation home they're staying at. Once they're let in, the TV flickers to life with a strange emergency notification on every channel. By morning, phones flood with alerts of a massive hacker attack, followed by nothing but corrupted encrypted text. A brief moment of radio reception reveals the scale of the disaster, a cyber attack causing catastrophic environmental effects across the South. Suddenly, strange flyers fall from the sky, printed in a foreign language to spread total confusion. The family then attempts to escape using the freeway, but they find the expressway jammed with a pileup of brand new self-driving Teslas. At this point, the social contract has completely shattered. Networks are down, planes are falling from the sky, and everyone is in complete
That's happened, by the way. I think it was last year. Was it 2025 or 2024? So many planes were just falling from the sky, which they didn't really have an explanation for, but a lot of planes fell. Time is moving so fast. I don't know if it was 2024 or 2025, but that's actually partly happened already.
Total panic. Then comes the final reveal. This isn't a random disaster. It's a synchronized 3-stage campaign, a strategy designed to force a total breakdown of social order, leading directly to a civil war.
There's one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A simple 3-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government from within. The first stage was isolation, disable their communication and transportation, make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible, setting them up for the second stage, synchronized chaos, terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation, overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their
misinformation. We're going to get more into that.
Weapon systems vulnerable to extremists in their own military. Without a clear enemy or motive, people would start turning on each other. Done successfully, the third stage would happen on its own. What's the third stage? So
the film ends with the Sanford's youngest daughter finding a fully stocked bunker and using it to finally watch the series finale of Friends. While this just seems like another apocalypse movie, in reality, Leave the World Behind provides a blueprint for how a catastrophic event unfolds in a society that is completely dependent on technology. This isn't the kind of conflict we see in history books. A modern war wouldn't look anything like previous times. Recent headlines from this week make this movie feel less like fiction and more like a prophecy. As the news unfolds, we are seeing the same style of attacks happening in real time. The unknown attack happened in 3 stages. Stage 1 is isolation. This involves taking out the country's communication and transportation. We see this in the movie when the oil tanker crashes and the GPS and cellular networks go dark. In 2026, we're seeing this exact isolation play out, with the recent disruptions to major data centers and the physical strikes on infrastructures that have left entire regions in the dark. Stage 2 is synchronized chaos. This is about overwhelming the public with misinformation and terror. In the movie, they used a high-pitched noise and the foreign flyers falling from the sky to keep people confused and afraid. Looking at the headlines today, the rise of deepfakes and the conflicting reports on current global tensions are creating that exact same sense of chaos where no one knows what to believe. Stage 3 is...
Let me add to that. The AI videos of attacks on Tel-aviv. It's really hard to tell what is a real video anymore because of how good AI video has become. Like, it's just increasing every single year. Remember the Will Smith video, Spaghetti? In 2023, absolute AI slop. Now the 2026 AI, it doesn't really look like slop anymore. It almost looks, it's eerily similar to how a real video would look. They can even copy how a phone recording would look. They can copy any type of style of video, what's called a CVT recording in a store. They can copy any type of style of video they want because that's how good AI video is now. And probably next year in 2027, it's going to be probably indistinguishable. We'll say 2028 maybe, but it's actually close to that right now. So with all that said, there's so much misinformation being spread. Oh, what video is real with the attacks in Israel, Tel Aviv? You know, how bad are they actually being damaged? Because people are saying, oh, this is an AI video. No, this is a real video. And most people don't even know which one is which. And so it's actually hard to tell. Let me put this on full screen. This is a major issue. If we can't even tell what is reality when it comes to major world events, that just leads to utter confusion to the masses. Like, what is real? What is really happening with certain scenarios? What is really happening in wartime scenarios? How bad is Tel Aviv being damaged? How bad is Iran being damaged? What videos can we trust? Well, it's getting to the point to where we can't distinguish what is real versus what is not real. And that is an issue because that leads to utter confusion and disinformation and just a state of like, what's going on? And in what he said in the video, the truth is, it leads to a point to where we start turning on each other because we can't trust any information that we are receiving. And that leads to civil war. And so it's like a mass state of psychosis because we are increasingly unable to trust the actual videos and just information, but even the videos that we are receiving. So if you can't trust an actual video, that's the type of media that you show to prove something has happened, right? Not just text, not just voice, video, because that's the most in-depth form of media. It's not just text, it's not just voice, it's audio and visual. And if we can't even trust that, what can we trust?
Civil war. Once the people are isolated and the chaos has reached a boiling point, the social contract completely shatters. Without a clear leader or a way to communicate, the country turns on itself. This is the final result of the blueprint. A nation that collapsed from within because it was never prepared for the collapse of their digital infrastructure. When you look at the architecture of the collapse in the film, it's not just random chaos. It's a calculated removal of society's foundation. In Leave the World Behind, the first thing to go is the GPS and the cellular network, effectively blinding the population. We see this mirrored in the headlines this very week with the physical drone strikes on major data centers overseas. Then we have to talk about the strange noise. In the movie, it is a piercing high-pitched frequency that physically breaks the characters down. We see them getting nauseous, and in one of the most disturbing scenes, we see one of the characters' teeth literally falling out of their head. While these advanced weapons were seen as science fiction once upon a time, in 2026, that is no longer the case. That noise seems to be a direct reference to directed energy weapons, which has recently transitioned from science fiction to confirmed reality. When the characters hear the sound, they immediately recognize it's something synthetic. They know it is a weaponized frequency. In 2026, we have seen the reports and the declassified data on sonic wave technology. It is a silent, invisible attack that leaves no fingerprints but causes total psychological collapse by
I don't know if I've experienced this, by the way, but I tell you what I do believe in, and I believe I'm experiencing the effects of it, is, I can't go too deep into it because then YouTube will flag the video for conspiracy, but we'll say those trails in the sky that stay there and then just make the sky all hazy. Yeah, those things. I believe that they are affecting everybody who is under that environment. If you see that in the sky and you see the really hazy stuff and you see the trails that the planes leave behind, I believe that's dispersing into the sky and it's affecting our health and even mentality. And I pray against it. But I do believe it affects us physically and mentally.
Including this in the blueprint, the film is showing us that the stage 2 is not just about making you confused. It's about making you physically unable to function. When you cannot think, when you cannot stand, and when you're watching your own body fail you for no visible reason, you're in a state of total vulnerability. Besides just analyzing this film through a surface level understanding, we need to look at the deeper, much more spiritual angle, starting with the oil tanker named the White Lion. In biblical prophecy, specifically the book of Revelation, the color white is the signature of the first horseman of the apocalypse. This horseman is often interpreted as a symbol of conquest, arriving under the guise of peace just before total destruction is unleashed. In Revelation 5:5, Jesus is referred to as the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and he is the one opening the seals for the horseman. In the film, this ship acts as a spiritual warning. It grounds itself directly on a beach to signal that the change is coming. It is a physical manifestation of the spiritual warning, a biblical announcement that the world as they knew it has been conquered and a new world is emerging.
And it could actually represent evil too, because the scripture says that Satan, 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Now, if we look up Israel's Operation Roaring Lion, it all makes sense, and I made a community post about it. So they actually have a whole website for this. You can't see the web address, but it says www.idf.il, Operation Roaring Lion. Oh, and it's white. I just caught that. I don't know if that's their official logo, but it's white. As in that video, on February 28, 2026, the IDF and the U.S. Armed Forces launched a broad and joint operation against the Iranian terrorist regime to remove the existential threat that they pose in Israel. Or maybe that Israel poses to the whole world. That's the real existential threat. The Middle East and the world as a whole. For decades, the Iranian regime has continued to advance in its plans to destroy Israel, from financing, training, and arming terror proxies on Israel borders to outright aerial attacks against Israeli communities. In response, the IDF launched a campaign against military targets and officials, beginning the operation with the largest military flyover in Israel forces history. The historic operation is a defining point in Israel's military operations and U.S. cooperation in a fight against the world's most influential terror regime. Operation Roaring Lion, folks. Let's go back to the Truth Is video.
Another nod at the spiritual mechanics behind this collapse is the behavior of the animals. Throughout the film, we see deer and flamingos acting in ways that defy their natural instincts, becoming the first to sense a global shift before anyone knows what has taken place. I believe this represents a fundamental divide. While modern society has lost its connection to the spiritual realm, these animals remain tethered to it, sensing the coming storm long before the digital grid fails. It is a symbolic warning. When humanity abandons its spiritual roots, they become blind to the reality.
I just spilled coffee on myself. My bad, y'all. Let's get back to it.
Right in front of them. Specifically, the scene where the deer become aggressive are a direct reference to the fourth seal. This biblical prophecy gives authority to Death and Hades to wipe out a quarter of the Earth's population, partly through the use of wild beasts. This spiritual context completely explains their radical behavior towards the end of the film. Another spiritual reference is the homeowner's admission about his insider buddies. He tells the Sanford family they were briefed with information the general public never received.
Turns to me, a serious face, and he says, "Oh, just my annual meeting with the rest of the evil cabal that runs the world. My friend calls me up. No scheduled appointment like he usually does, just calls me out of the blue. He wants me to move around some of his money. And we're talking some big numbers even for him. And as we get off."
They mention the evil cabal that runs the world in this movie, left the world behind.
Phone asks he wants to grab a drink. He tells me he's going away for a while. I joke back to him, "Well, yeah, you hang with your evil cabal this weekend? That was only during the winter solstice." Then he doesn't laugh. Then he always laughs, even with bad jokes. All he said was, Take care of yourself. Almost as if you felt sorry for me. The conspiracy theory about a shot we could be born in the world is far too lazy of an explanation, especially when the truth is much scarier. No one is in control.
These insiders represent the small percentage who moved their assets and secured their families before the breakdown commenced. Though
I'll tell you who it also represents, which I can't actually tell you because YouTube will flag the video. Right now I'm drinking my coffee. Just pretend this is a juice box. Okay, let's continue.
Those who believe they can outrun a coming judgment by hiding. This is a direct nod to Revelation 6:15. This verse describes a time when the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, and the mighty hide themselves in caves amongst the rocks of the mountains. They are attempting to hide from the very disasters their own decisions help create. But as the Bible makes clear, and as the homeowner finally admits, wealth and connections only make you a first-class passenger on a sinking ship. The film shows us that the elites weren't interested in saving the world. They only wanted to save their own interests, leaving the rest of humanity to fight over the scraps of a dying reality.
And so now I want to show you the other part of the PSYOP. This is from Alex Barneycoat. The Israeli government has sent me a letter and I could be arrested for my videos. I'm accused of being a national security threat to an ally and exposing state secrets. They've banned my TikTok. So apparently you can be arrested, and I don't even think he's an Israeli citizen, so how could he be arrested? I'm confused about that. I don't know what nation he's a citizen of. His accent sounds like he's a British citizen. But what they don't want is they don't want people filming the damage that is happening in Tel Aviv in Israel. It's all propaganda. I guess they don't want to seem weak. But let's hear his story right here.
I've just been told I could be arrested because I've exposed to you guys the damage that Iran has caused to Israel during their war in this last week. Specifically, in response to the videos I've made showing the damage to Israel, Tel Aviv, etc., I've been labelled an official, quote, national security threat to an ally. In fact, because of the videos I've made showing Israeli air defense systems failing and hitting Israel, I've also been accused of, quote, exposing national security secrets. For context, I could face 10 years in prison on that charge. Now, even though on that front I might be okay, Israel is still attacking me in other ways. 2 days ago, my TikTok account with over 300,000 followers that I put 3 years of work into bringing you guys unbiased news was banned. And it was banned because I exposed damage to Israel.
Yeah, I was banned on TikTok a long time ago. And now that US has taken over and really, well, Israel has taken over it because that's who, I forgot the name of the guy who actually bought a lot of shares into it or just bought a large portion of it. I forget the name of him, but yeah, he is a Zionist. And so they actually have more control. I was banned when it was under Chinese control, but it was attempting to, like it was in the process of the US controlling it, right? It was in the process. But people were saying that, oh, the Chinese are getting our data and it's more dangerous if they have it. No, it's more dangerous now. And it's more censorship even now that the US, quote, has control over TikTok.
Because I'm a, quote, national security threat to an ally. I'm not joking, and TikTok was one of our last sources of income. TikTok pays you for the views you get, if you don't know, but now they've banned TikTok, I don't get that. And these videos cost money to make, the news videos you watch. And I don't want to give in to this Israeli censorship. I want to keep fighting them. I'm not going to let them beat me down and threaten me.
But this video is on TikTok, so I don't know if this got through like their algorithm systems, but and if this is recent, see, as we don't know, there's so much misinformation going on. So some people may say, oh, this is from the wrong time. This was from last year. So there's videos circulating around of damage in Israel, but some people are misunderstanding when these videos were taken. It could have been 2025, 2024, 2023, and there's no timestamps. But I do believe this was a recent video. Turn the music off just in case it's copyrighted. So why do they want to hide the scale of damage from Iranian attacks? Why? But despite the threat of arrest, videos are starting to leak out. This was the aftermath of the Iran missile strike. So it's saying this is a recent video in a Tel Aviv suburb. Even the deep underground bunkers in Tel Aviv are being breached. The mythical Iron Dome is failing. Wow. Breaching air defenses every day and night. Why don't they want this information being leaked? And again, my guess is they don't want to seem weak. But I think there's got to be more to it than that, right? There's got to be more to it than just that. I just don't know the whole goal of them not wanting these videos leaked besides that? But yeah, it's definitely propaganda. So let me know y'all's thoughts. Why do you think Israel is threatening arrest and preventing videos like this from being leaked in Tel Aviv? And we know that Iran is actually causing damage to Israel and Tel Aviv because they are in bunkers. I mean, no reason why they've got kicked out so many countries. It's just utter degeneration. You can just tell by what's happening. You got kids smoking, like degenerates. Degenerates. They bring degeneracy to any country that they come into. Like, what is this? What is this? Like, this isn't normal. And they start teaching them to be degenerate when they're young. When I'm looking at this person, it looks like it's almost like the innocence has been taken away from him already. And I don't even want to think about how that's happened. I don't even want to think about it. But that's what I see when I see this person. And be careful how I speak because, you know, YouTube. He's basically like in a small body, but he's acting as an adult, you know? And all that childhood innocence is looking to be gone. And this is how they do all their people. They're raised into this. So why are they in shelters if apparently the Israeli media is trying to say, oh, Tel Aviv is good. There's no major destruction here. So why are they in shelters? And they're leaving the country too. I thought I had a video saved about them leaving the country, but I don't know if I still have it saved.
Has been hit really hard this past hour. There's been 4 waves of ballistic missiles from Iran to Israel the past hour, and this included the uninterceptable cluster warheads. Major areas of Tel Aviv are without power, and there are tons of injuries. Also, Israeli authorities have shut down the internet in areas of Tel Aviv to avoid any damage videos getting out. There's been well over 60 direct hits in the past hour. Also, the American 5th Fleet in Bahrain is on fire. The video of the Iron Dome, watch this one right here. It doesn't intercept a single rocket. Count this. This is what? 6 Iron Dome interceptors and a ballistic missile right above just comes right through them. I don't know if I'm believing the odds anymore that 95% of them are being intercepted. We can watch this ballistic, not even a cluster warhead, make its way down. Wasn't even tried to get intercepted, and it's going to have a direct hit. The censorship out of Israel right now, specifically Tel Aviv, is insane. They're threatening jail time. They're putting cell jammers. They're literally intercepting videos as people are trying to send them to each other. Israel has...
That is all a funny comment here. Let's go down to that. They can intercept videos, but not missiles. Yeah, so that's what they're doing. They're trying to control the media. They're propagandizing. Is that a word, propagandizing? That's what they're doing. They want to control the narrative. For whatever reason, I still don't fully understand it. Like, I don't get it. I feel like they want to play the victim, so they would want, you know, the world to see the destruction that's happening so they can play the victim. Oh, look what Iran's doing to us. Our city's being destroyed. And then that can give reason for them to do more damage to Iran or whatever. So I don't understand their full play here. What's the end game here with this? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And also, if you feel led to donate to this channel, because not all these videos get monetized based on the controversial topics that I speak about, and I'm trying to save money so I can do this full time eventually. I took off work today just because, well, I need a day off. And now I have more time to make videos. And I want to be able to feel like I can do this every single day. Not just the days I have off, but every single day. So if you want to support the channel with me, you can donate to the channel and help me save up to do this full time. May the Lord keep you. May he bless you. May he shine his face upon you always and give you peace. Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you shall be saved. Amen.